Now, as Nigeria approaches the 2027 elections, early political ripples are sending warning signals nationwide. Party tensions, regional alliances, and governance performance are shaping voter expectations, while civil society warns of risks from misinformation and voter apathy. Stakeholders are mobilizing at the grassroots, aiming to secure influence in key states. Experts say ignoring these early warning bells could affect the transparency and fairness of the elections. Preparation now will determine whether Nigeria navigates these political ripples peacefully or faces turbulent electoral waters.
Okay, joining us live on Daybreak this morning is Dr. Tanko, the National Coordinator of the Obedience Movement and former National Chairman of the Independent Party Advisory Council. He is a key political stakeholder with a deep experience in party politics and civil mobilization, and we will be sharing his perspective on Nigeria's 2027 political landscape. Thank you for joining us, Alhaji Yunusa Tanko.
Thank you.
We saw you live at the front line of that protest yesterday in demanding for real-time electronic transmission of results in the proposed Electoral Act amendments. Are you just being defiant of the constraining reality that some people have picked in our electoral narrative, talking about the constraint of technology, that some rural areas may be constraining the application of this technology, and for that reason the real-time transmission is left to the discretion of INEC. How would you react to this?
Okay, thank you and good morning for everyone. And let me just use this opportunity to pay a tribute to Mr. Ariyo Atoide, who was part of the people who identified the need for an electoral reform, and then being cascaded down again by Mr. Peter Aka and the rest of us who follow suit immediately. During the 2023 general election, we realized that there's a lacuna in the Electoral Act. Of course, some of the political parties that were together in the Inter-Party Advisory Council actually have been championing the issue of electoral reform. Now, let me make a clarification. There is a kind of a misinformation that Section 222 of the Electoral Act that is being retained by the National Assembly was being precipitated on the fact that some areas do not have network, and that there's this particular word that they are trying to manipulate: transfer and transmit. To transfer means that at any time you could decide to transfer, just like you transferring money. But remember also, at the time in which you are transferring money, the bank ensures that they transmit immediately. You know, transmission means at the time in which you transfer, it's reached that particular point. So there are two words, but they are being manipulated in a way to mean one thing. So the National Assembly idea of trying to say, we've already approved the issue of transfer and all. The question is that if you and I who live in the village want to do transfer of money, it goes immediately. Why is it difficult for you to transfer or transit election results? So that's to tell you there's a question mark in it.
You don't think that perhaps, looking at it from the other side, that this is just an attempt to ensure that they don't toy or gamble with the electoral process, and they're trying to be realistic as much as possible?
There's not anything about realistic here. It shows our deficiency. For any country like, for example, India, who has more population, possibly more bigger landmass, and the number of voters and all, can transmit result at real time, immediately, for over millions of voters.
Billions. India is in the billions.
Billions, yes, they can transfer result at that particular. What happened to us? In fact, if you are real and you are serious as a nation, it should be a shame on ourselves and the leaders in the National Assembly. But at this point, let me also appreciate some of the senators, using Senator Abaribe as a point of contact, who were able to come out and say, this is exactly what took place. This is just to encourage those who are developing cold feet in challenging the status quo.
Right.
That yes, because some of them have come out and say, this is exactly, because many of us wouldn't have known that there was actually a attempt to manipulate the system where it was not correct. So the truth about it is that we should have even found out and insist that those areas that it's assumed not to have any network, the National Assembly should give a marching order to show that they are progressive. Go and make sure there is power in that particular area, and there's also, they can easily transfer those particular results at real time. This is a marching order. That's to show you that you are interested in giving credible election. Look, ladies and gentlemen, none of us is doing this because we have a personal interest. No, we just want a credible election that will bring in credible leaders. We, and His Excellency Mr. Peter will be saying that we need to change this narrative. We are always docile in the fact that we are minors, we can't do this, we can't do this. Peter Obi, for example, traveled to 3 states in one day, in 3 states solving about 4 issues. He was in Asaba, Asaba to Enugu, Enugu to Lagos, Lagos back to Asaba, Asaba back to Lagos and to Kano, and then he was able to do this. That's to show you there's an energy in this particular individual. What I'm trying to use as an example is to say that, look, we need to be progressive in our action of solving problem, not to always use that. Just like we go, if you are traveling around Nigerian road, you see our policemen in an area where the roads are bad. They use the area where the roads are bad to form a cascade. That's to show you that, look, we are, exposing ourselves. That's so you use our bad area to use it as an advantage to people who are in position of power. It has to stop. They should have used that particular opportunity and said, this road must be repaired and all. Federal road safety. You see them on federal road safety, you see custom and all. That is exactly what the Senate is doing.
All right. The thing is now is, what's the plan? If the Senate reconvenes and there is harmonization, at the end of the day, this is not passed. We know you're already at the National Assembly occupying there, protesting. What's the plan? This is not the first time we've had protests in this country, and what the public wanted did not finally go through.
I remember my experience as a field marshal of Save Nigeria. I've led several, just like what you said. We've had experience in things being not done. We are interested, we are determined to take this further. This country must be repaired now.
And further, you mean?
Yes. We must take that decision now. A lot of people...
What do you mean by further?
What I mean is that every time we have a stopgap in an area, we say this is our demand. And then when they do maybe abracadabra and manage it, and everybody go back to rest and think that everything is dandy. No, it is not dandy until when we have credible election in this country. So we are not going to stop. And we're not encouraging anybody to stop. Because without credible election, we cannot have credible leaders. Without credible leaders, we cannot have credible governance in this country. Without credible governance in this country, we cannot have good governance, which we champion. Because we want Nigeria to be better than the way it is, so that everybody, most of our people who are outside the country, can come back home and add to the development of the country. We cannot continue to allow these people to continue in this narrative and continue to submerge this country like a submarine under the water, and then we cannot do anything. We must, as a people. Yesterday, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi took a lot of people by storm by coming out because they doubted that whether he's going to come out. But he did, and then that shows leadership. And that shows energy. At the same time, we are expecting more people. Look, Nigeria is not for one person, it's for every one of us. And people are busy collecting Mr. President's money. It is our money. Use this money for the benefit of every Nigerian. It is our money. Nobody is. Look, when you look at the narrative and ask yourself, what did Mr. President do as a businessman to earn this particular money that is distributing to you? None. In Kano yesterday, I met somebody in Kano, and he was like, Mr. Peter Obi, I met you, I am one of your distributors. He alluded to the fact that Mr. Peter Obi was a businessman. You understand? So in that similar fact, to tell you that this is somebody who is managing resources, who can generate resources, administer it and maintain it and give accountability. Okay. In this case, many governors are collecting so much funds, many governors are collecting Nigerian money and individual, and they feel justifiable for doing that. It is treasonable offense against the Nigerian people. It should not be tolerated in any way.
Okay. Now, what other reforms do you think are urgently needed besides the e-transmission?
Well, there is this particular issue about the issue of nomadic politicians who move from point A to point B. I know some other person will pick me up on this and say, yes. So let me explain. With laws that can enable people to remain where they are, people will not move. And why they move, in the case of my principal, he moved justifiably because of certain reasons about the issue of not making the laws that can make sure that nobody moves. I give a case in an example. You have a candidate who have said this A, B, C, D is wrong. Internal democracy cannot be done in this way, it must be done in this way. Now the government in power, instead of them making sure that the rules are done accordingly, they infiltrate that particular party to ensure that that particular candidate does not get that particular candidate and making it verbally known. So in that case, what do you expect him to do? Who want to make sure that there's changes in this country? He cannot remain in that particular. But if the right things are being done, we wouldn't have people moving from one political party.
But Dr. Tanko, on that point, is it about moving to another party, or is it about losing your position when you move? Because you cannot stop people from moving, but they have to lose the benefit when they move.
Exactly. Now, in Ghana, for example,
because in the UK, party, some cabinet members have already moved to another party, so
yes,
it is losing your position.
Look at the way we do ours. You will take my own position. I sold a manifesto of a political party to you. You voted me in. And when I got into that particular, I now trade that your discussion I have with you and go into another policy. It's not acceptable. You can't trade before, and say, I'm moving. So I'm not telling you anything. The new party in which I'm moving to, and then it must have a stipulated time. We want to do that. That way, it will give credibility to the process. So we must ensure that particular clause that say if there is no problem in one political party or the other, and then you cannot. No, that is divisive. It's just an idea to manipulate the system and the people. Once you say you move out of that political party, you lose your seat, you are out, then go and open it up for another contest. Okay. That's how it's supposed to be. It will serve as a solution to most of the problem of nomadism in Nigeria.
Okay. Alhaji Tanko, just to put this conversation in a proper perspective, there are those who would say that Mr. Peter Obi and the supporters and the protesters of this, the advocates of this real-time electronic transmission of results have some inordinate political interest because against the backdrop of the National Assembly saying that it's going to have an emergency meeting today to take a second look at the electoral draft. Some people find this, some people have argued that this is an issue of utter disregard to the process of the National Assembly. Starting the protest on Monday, when you knew the National Assembly will be taking a look at the drafts.
Everything is wrong with us. Believe me. We have a country where expenditure is being done without even passing the bills, without even knowing how the bills are, the budget is being expended, without it being expended accordingly. We have an issue in this country where every institution is being purified. So everything is wrong. If not that those particular senators and some of us have come out and say no to this, we wouldn't have had that particular opportunity and say, look, they are going to revisit it. Our demand has always been that they should revisit it, sit back, have a combined National Assembly sitting from both the Federal House of Reps and Senate.
Sorry. I said proper perspective. I wanted to say broader perspective. So that does not disregard any of the points that have been channeled.
Yeah. So they must sit and know that they're representing the people. And then line by line, you see, what happened was that even the same thing that happened in the tax law, line by line, then Nigerians maybe would have to take note of what was agreed and approved so that nobody will come again through the back door and manipulate the words for us. No, we want to see line by line and agree on it. In this case, and everybody who is voting possibly can also say, yes, I voted for this or against this. This is happening in developed countries. We are saying it. In fact, the votings are being put on the public domain. We know who did this or who did, because Nigerians are watching.
Right.
And they want to know who is representing them correctly so that by the time you come back home, whether you are going to give you flour or chase you with cane. Because it has happened already in some other areas in the north. People are being chased. And look, there's dignity in labor. Dignity for this country. We must face it. Nobody will do it for us. And we call ourselves a giant of Africa, and look at it, we are gianting down below. It's totally unacceptable.
Okay. Talk to us about your principal and his foray into the African Democratic Congress and his chances with contending figures that are also, or maybe also interested in the presidential election. I mean, the elections are very close, you know, barely a year away, and we don't know what's happening in that party. Are you confident that your principal stands a chance?
My confidence relies on my principal for the fact that he has shown the level of resilience and determination. He has also made it clear right from the beginning that he did not go into any coalition because of his personal interest. He's going into the coalition because he wants to see Nigeria work, and it must be tailored around program of building a Nigeria of our dream. Be as it may, he also realized that during the 2023 general election, yes, he has made a lead, a movement, and a voting process that have brought in unbelievable vote that was allocated to him. But at the same time, too, it is time for him to also advance further to ensure that he carries everybody along who are having doubting Thomases before. And that was why when people come around and say, look, let's work together. Let us build a nation. And then he said, okay, fine. If you are building a nation that will work, let all of us come together. That was why he has to go into a coalition. Remember, this coalition is only for individual candidates and individual Nigerians. The coalition can metamorphose into political parties. They're two different things. The parties, some parties can come and go and say, we are also joining this particular coalition. So at this point, there is a building of trust among every Nigerian who want a change, a genuine change for the country. And that's the reason why he went in. And at the same time, we are believing that Nigerians should be able to see the difference from a Peter Obi and other candidates. This is somebody who is a builder of resources, manager of resources, executor of resources, building bridges, credibility, accountability, consistency, and compassion. This is what he has already shown over the years, to a point in which he has challenged everybody. Bring out anything against me, if you have, and then I will explain or I will. So nobody has taken up on it. So in that case, we are confident that the Nigerian people and the people in the coalition will be able to see the difference and say, look, let's give it to this gentleman.
I want to take you up on what you're saying and go a little bit into details on this obedient movement.
Yes, please.
What do you think is the greatest strength and weakness going forward into 2027?
Our greatest strength is the collaboration from the Nigerian youth. At a point in time.
Do you still have that?
Oh, we do. I can tell you, because we've shown it within the same short period of time. You see what happened, you saw what happened in Asaba. Our movement coming. In fact, there were confession by people. They thought probably we are only on the social media. We are not. We are more beyond that. And today, if you go to Kano, Kaduna, Sokoto, everywhere, the Nigerian youth are resilient now. They are determined. They are not waiting for tomorrow again. They are the leaders of today. Because they have been, you know why? They have been able to see the difference that many Nigerians and leaders have been cutting away, stealing their country to point to point.
Before we go, and the weakness.
Okay.
Well, the weakness on our part is our ability to continue to galvanize this youth together and taking away the issue of difference of religion, tribe, but face Nigeria as a key in this.
Quite interesting. Alhaji Tanko Yunusa is the national coordinator of the Obedience Movement, and thank you for the insight into all the issues we've raised so far. Unfortunately, we're pressed for time, and that's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I'm Gbenga Ashiru. It's goodbye from me.
I'm Constance Ikoku. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Goodbye.
Thank you.